After the 1962 war with China, the Indian Air Force had been asked to carry out an assessment of how many squadrons it would need to deal with the two-front threat. It had come up with a figure of 60 squadrons. Today, we are facing a 3.5 front threat. China to the north, Pakistan to the west, and a pesky, thankless, bloody state called Bangladesh, which has just had a colored Islamic revolution to our east, and then there is the half front which is in our internal security front. And what is the strength of the Indian Air Force today? Sir, it is 29 squadrons. The last big squadron has just been phased out. What is the strength of the Pakistani Air Force? 25 squadrons. Congratulations, you are still 4 squadrons ahead. But sir, you also have to deal with China, which has almost 100 plus squadrons. Right? Thank God all of them are not deployed against you. But in a war situation, why would he not throw everything at you? Why would he not throw everything at you? And now you have to deal with the pesky pipsqueak of a country called Bangladesh, which wants to buy J-10C fighters from China, saying, oh, they did so well in Op Sindoor. They did not. But yet they want to waste their money where they have already spent so much money on submarines that don't work, Chinese tanks that don't work, drones that don't work. Now they want to go in for J-10Cs. It's their funeral, right? But the fact is, sir, this is a wake-up call of the most extreme magnitude. Air power is the key to victory. We've just learnt that lesson again in Operation Sindoor. Thank God, because of our indigenous technology, our Navik series of satellites which made us, navigation enabled. We could carry out our navigation. Our Akash Tir air defense system was Navik enabled, because of which we had accuracies of less than 1 meter in offensive and defensive tasks. We had invested, thankfully, quite a lot in precision guided munitions of the cruise missile class, right? The BrahMos, the Scalp, the Storm Shadow equivalent, right? The Crystal Maze, etc. The Hammer glide toss bombs. We invested a lot of money into these when lots of questions were being raised. Why is the Rafale so expensive? Because we went for a lot of firepower associated with it, which could deliver precision guided munitions, right? And that is how we have managed to bash the Pakistani Air Force, because it was a single front war. Had it been a two-front war situation, then, you see, how can a country get itself to this kind of a dire state? Half the problem is because of the Congress legacy eras, where they were more interested in swindling money. Every defense deal was a cash cow for the Congress to make money. They didn't give a damn whether you got your weapons, technologies or not. I mean, it mattered 1 tuppence to them. And today, because of that backlog, despite all the efforts that the BJP government has made since it came over, thank God it got in about 36 Rafales. We are trying to get some more, about 29 for the Navy. And we got the BrahMoses. The greatest thing we did was the S-400s. 3 regiments of S-400 made such a drastic difference. That is what superior technology can do. Drastic difference in Operation Sindoor. Also coupled with the BrahMos cruise missiles, indigenous, built in collaboration with Russia. And then the Akash surface to air missiles, totally indigenous, 98% kill probability. They have shaken the rest of the world. because of our technological capabilities. Indigenous technological capabilities helped us to get through Op Sindoor because it was a single front war. Can anybody guarantee me that India will never face a two front war situation? Can anybody give that guarantee? And in any case, armed forces have to work on worst case scenarios and not hope. Hope is not a strategy, right? Oh, we will be so smart, our diplomacy will be so smart that we will ensure that we are never in a two front war situation. Congratulations. What if it doesn't work? Who will have to pay the price? Our armed forces, the country, right? So, I think it's about time that we dealt with this problem in absolute crisis mode. And the government is striving its utmost in that direction. We don't have much time. There are some people in this country who think, oh, we can take 10, 20 years to develop this system, that system, that system. There'll be trials, there'll be this, there'll be that, we'll reject and we come. You don't have that bloody luxury. You got the ATACMS guns. Please use them. What you've got. They're nitpicking, it's too bloody heavy. Are we in a ramp show modeling competition? The heavier gun can fire longer. And if tanks of 45 tons, Vajra of 50 tons can operate in Ladakh and Sikkim, North Plateau, well, so can a 21 ton gun which has been forced to be reduced to 19 tons. No, but they stop this, now we'll just buy 300. We need 1800 and we need them now. But we are being told, we will make some more, we will have another gun design which fits our QR. We had said 14 to 15 tons, we will not accept a gun less than that. You don't have the luxury. Operation Sindoor is still on, you could fight tomorrow. If you are short of air power, you need at least ground fire power. You got a gun designed in your own country by the DRDO, manufactured by the Kalyani Forge, the Tata Advanced System. It is in-house. Forget about the nitpicking. Go for it in mass. And get on to making up the gaps in your air power before the enemies of the country show them, highlight them to you. Right? So, what are we doing? There seems to be some good news on the horizon. The first good news is, number one, that you have received the 4th regiment of the S-400. That should be very bad news for Pakistan, right? We are going to get the 5th regiment next year. Excellent news. Now, we are hearing, it is almost in the final stages, that Indian Air Force has asked for 114 Rafales to build up our squadron strength to cater for the Jaguars and the Mirage 2000s, which will be phased out of service shortly. You want to get to a single digit squadron Air Force to make a laughing stock of yourself? You can't do that. You can't afford to do that. So, we have to get these 114 Rafales, whatever be the damn cost. And I don't think this government will or should flinch from the costs it's required for national security. Weapons don't come cheap, right? We are trying to make our own, but we can't take all the time in the world. We don't have 30 years, 40 years luxury to make up, those gaps indigenously. People who are making indigenous technologies have to speed up, have to live up to the challenge, right? So, 114 Rafales, we've already got 36 in the Air Force, we got in 28 in the Navy. So, I think it makes an ecosystem, commonality of spares, commonality of maintenance, repairs and all that. And the Rafale, the Dassault wants to make you a hub, a regional hub for manufacture, maintenance, all the Rafale that are operating in Asia and beyond, right? So they are now, I am told, prepared to share more of the source codes than they had done so earlier, because it will be manufactured in India, and Rafale has taken 51% share with that arrangement they had with the Reliance. So hopefully we will get the entire thing now, entire technology, and we should be able to mount our BrahMos and our Astra 3 missiles onto this. Astra 3 missile incidentally will have a range of 3 to 400 kilometers. In BVR missile category, it would be one of the best. So we want to mount them onto whatever platforms we are forced to buy from outside. There is also the talk that India will have to go in as an interim measure till the AMCA comes up, which could take a decade or more, 5 to 7 squadrons of Su-57s. It makes eminent common sense, and that should not be allowed to become a rare sense, because the United States will object to it. To hell with the United States objections. We have to cater for our protection, sir, our self-defense, and we can't be dictated to as to where we will buy weapons from, especially after the Americans take our money and renege on the deals. We were supposed to get these the GE 404 engines. The two of them have come in now after about 2.5 years of delay, right? And they are promising to get at least one squadron worth by the end of this year. We have a prayer in our hearts and hope, right? The way the Americans are behaving in a most hostile, inimical fashion, I am not sure how much we can rely on them, and they have the gall to expect that after they have done this backstabbing to us, we will buy more of their equipment. I don't think we need to buy anything from that unreliable country. We are not begging for free giveaways, sir. We are paying hard cash, and if we get taken for a ride after paying hard cash, GE 414 Mirage. Forget about the GE 414. I say, you know them now very well. You know who you are dealing with. They are every day finding new methods to somehow, cause problems for India. If we still want to rely on them, then we need to see a head shrink. Please. It's as brutal a fact as that. So we are thinking of buying 5 to 7 squadrons. 2 of them would be in a flyaway condition, because Pakistani pilots are already in China being trained on the J-35 stealth fighter, and they are likely to get 2 squadrons. So for God's sake, don't let Pakistan get the technological lead in introducing new weapon systems into South Asia. Don't fall behind Pakistan when you have to deal with China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, right? So 2 in a flyaway condition are a must, and then about 3 to 5 squadrons worth can be manufactured in India at the Hall. I am told Russian experts are already touring these facilities. I am told Indian pilots are likely to go to Russia to test fly the Su-57 to learn how to handle this aircraft and minimize the time in terms of introduction into our service in the Indian Air Force. So these are the 2 good news stories. Just today we were told that India has decided to go in for 97 Tejas fighters. That's good news. Tejas 1A. 1A. The delivery of Tejas 1 hasn't been completed. 1A, we know what the problems are. And whether we'll be able to solve the problem, is this 97 figure then a hope, a mirage, or what? But any case, the government wants to encourage the indigenous fighter program. I am all for it, but we may have to think of another engine if we are realistic. Either the Kaveri have to be uprated so that it can be fitted onto the Rafale, or the Safran engine that France has promised us has to be fitted onto this. Even the Russians have promised us their engine. So I don't think we need to look about for choice. We have plenty of choice as far as the American backstabbing is concerned. There are plenty of reliable people who are prepared to sell you their stuff at the price, but they deliver. They give you your bang for the buck. Unlike the United States, which takes your money and then reneges on its contracts. It is trying to do the maximum harm it can to your national security. The problems in Bangladesh created by United States, problem in Nepal created by the United States. The way it is embracing Pakistan is amazing. It is almost a throwback to 1971 when our relations had hit a nadir, right? So, with these, the introduction of the Rafales 114, introduction of about 5 to 7 squadrons of the Su-57 5th generation stealth fighter, the Indian Air Force would be able to inch back to that 60 squadron mark. If all goes well, introduction proceeds the pace and we don't take our own sweet time about it, we can't afford to. We simply can't afford to. Then they are saying by 2035 we may go up to 50 squadrons. We need to speed up that induction. Our major conflict, if all of us are anticipating trouble from Pakistan, Operation Sindoor has still not been called off. That means the next war you are anticipating in a matter of months, if not 1 to 2 years. You will be lucky if you get that much time. You have to step on the accelerator. You can't do business as usual, bureaucratic hassles and tangles and unraveling the knots of which is becoming a nightmare. Please, we need to step on the gas. And till such time as air power makes up, please catch up on your firepower of the artillery. You have your own gun, get it in numbers. Let them mass produce in numbers. We needed 1800 of those guns when I was in the MO Directorate in 1999-2000. For God's sake, we had asked for those 1800 medium guns, 155/52, that time back. Decades have passed and we still haven't gotten, we just gotten some of them, 140 odd M777 light American guns, which we were the first to buy more or less, and then we went in for the Vajra, about 100 more are being asked for, it's proved its worth. And then of course came the Indian indigenous version of the I'm forgetting the name of the gun, but 155/45 caliber, indigenously made by the ordnance factory. Unfortunately had metallurgy problems and the rest of it, but now we have about 300 guns being introduced of the ATAGS class. Why we have decided that this is all that will be, and now they want the DRDO and this thing to get back to the drawing board and draw another medium gun of about 155/52 caliber, the same caliber which you already have. This gun is too heavy. So bloody what? So bloody what if it is too heavy? It fires to 48 kilometers, more than the American gun. Please fill up your gaps fast. The next, it will be too little too late if we get these guns 5 or 10 years later or more, if you are planning to design a de novo new gun to satisfy the artillery directorate's plan for 14 to 15 ton guns. Please, it is not a models competition. We are not walking the ramp where we need anorexic models. We need models that can shoot, which are proven. This has been tried, tested, ATAGS in Ladakh, in high altitude areas of Sikkim. It is proven its worth. So let's introduce it in the mass and as fast as possible. while we try and catch up with the gaps in air power. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.